Right now, I am blessed to be with a true living legend. I mean, the architect of funk. Not only are you part of the funk, but you created the funk.
Oh my
I've
goodness.
got a
Oh my
pioneer,
God.
visionary, the ultimate, like I like to call Funkateer. I
Yeah.
got to put some love on it. Bootsy Collins. Hello,
Yeah.
King. What
Oh
a
man.
pleasure.
I'm just so glad to be in the house.
Excited about it.
You
And
know?
let me just say, first things first, how does it still feel to be funking it up the planet in 2025? I mean, how many decades in are we?
Well, I didn't intend on doing that, but since everybody kind of moved out of the spot, I just kind of moved in.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
Keep it alive and well, and certainly have. Now, looking back, from writing with Soul Train with James Brown,
Yeah.
and you were a little bit more, should I say, dapper Dan classier. You were just so fine and flare and all the sparkle dust
That's
everywhere.
right.
How did that change come about from doing with James Brown to Parliament Funkadelic and doing all the great vibes of fashion that you've set as a trend?
Well, I've always wanted to do that because the brothers on the street was fly. When
Okay.
I was coming up, it was all about being, whatever you could be, but it had to be fly.
That's right.
So I grew up around, people like that. My brother, he was 8 years older than I, so I was always looking at the older crowd.
Okay.
I came up in the older crowd, the jazz musicians, everybody that was so cool.
Right.
I love to be around. I didn't want to be around kids my age.
Yeah.
9 years old, 10 years. No, I want to, I want to hang with the teenagers.
I know that's right.
So, that's part of my whole thing was just growing up in that era,
Right.
and seeing what it could be like. And, me looking at how I could be if, I could get it together like that.
You got it all the way
You know.
together.
Well,
Okay. You got us all the way together.
It took some work. It took some work.
Speaking of work, what was your beginning stages and how that collaboration coming with James Brown come to play?
Well, he would record at King Records, which is in Cincinnati, Ohio, and
Okay.
that's where I live. That's where I come from. And he would record there at King Records, and that's how, and that's what started the thing about, man, I gotta meet him, I gotta meet the band, and so they wouldn't let us in over King Records. If you wasn't doing nothing,
Right.
you wasn't gonna get nothing. You wasn't gonna even get a glimpse. So and then we was cool with that. But a few times we met some of the band,
Okay.
and they would come out and hang, smoke cigarettes, do this, do that, like a band,
Yeah.
and they pulled us in, and so James started asking about us, and they'd tell him, a little bit, oh, it's a three-piece band around Cincinnati, Ohio.
Nice.
They play at clubs and so, but that was it. But then he wanted us to go out on the road with Marvel Whitney and Hank Ballard, which was his groups, at the time. And we did.
Nice.
So that was the start of it. That's what got us in the door.
I love it.
We started working.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, he said, if you don't work, you can't eat.
Okay.
So we got in there and we started eating a little more.
Got to working right
Yeah.
with the WRK.
That's right.
Well, your bass lines, your vocals, your whole swag, King, has been a masterclass in innovation and funk. What kept that creativity burning so bright through all the eras that you've touched? Like, he's like, I'm just going to stay in this whole, the star glasses, the razzle dazzle.
Well, I think what it is when I was coming up, when I said I wanted to be different,
Yeah.
I really wanted to be different. They say I'm different. I want to be different now and buy the same clothes everybody else buy.
Yeah.
It's not being different,
Right.
So, I wanted to always prove that I had a signature thing. That was before branding. I didn't know nothing about no branding.
Right.
I'm straight off the street. I don't know nothing about none of that. I don't know nothing about taking care of business. My whole thing was music and entertaining people. I love to entertain. I love to host parties, socials, house parties, and so I got all of that from just hanging and doing those things with my brother,
Nice.
and it felt so good. I wanted to take that to the stage.
Well, there's nobody like you. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, that was intended.
Yeah.
I might not have intended anything else, but
Yeah.
that I intended to do.
Well, you hit the mark. You hit
Yeah.
the mark, King. And you still hitting the mark, but still bring out music. I'm like, what? Album of the year, the #1 Funkateer. I love the title.
Well, since they never gave it to me, I gave it to myself.
Right. I know. What's the vibe and vision you wanted to give the world with your latest Bootsy project, Masterpiece?
Well, I wanted to just show how we can all come together and do something together. We have to coexist.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like, they always tell you to, about the apple, but who bit the apple? We all bit the apple.
We did.
And what it is look at the computers. Look at the Mac computer. What's on there?
The apple.
Well, what else is on the apple? That bite print.
Yeah.
Well, that's all of us.
Right.
So we can't blame nobody.
Right.
We have to look at it like we're all involved. I want to bring everybody
Nice.
together to this party.
I love it.
And that's what the funk is all about.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm all about. And
You are
that's
the master of it.
Well, I don't know if I'm the master, but I have been chosen to be the one for now.
That's right.
Yeah.
And let me just say, you always keep your sound authentic, but you've evolved with the times. Are there any collaborations or young artists, even now, that you would love to pull up on a project? I mean, Beyonce, maybe a little Kendrick Lamar.
Well, I don't look at it like that.
Yeah.
For me, it's all about the people that have talent,
Right.
that don't have numbers, but there's a balance I had to come to and accept.
Right.
That you got to have some numbers, but it's like the young people, for me, if they are talented, they're the ones that need to be pushed up, lift up.
Right.
Ain't nobody seeing the real talent.
Right.
And for me, that's what I'm here for.
Nice.
If I see real talent, I don't care nothing about they ain't got no numbers, because that's the way they treated me. It wasn't about my numbers or who was he. I was nobody, but I had to work, and get out there. You couldn't jump online and show everybody you and what you do.
Right.
No, you had to go to those places.
Yeah.
And so, we had an extra effort we had to put in to let people know who we were, what we sound like.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we got started cutting big records, funk was a bad word.
Right.
So how we gonna get some play? We're gonna get some play because we're gonna get out there and show the people how bad we are.
Right. Why was funk a bad word? Is that close to the other word?
Check it out. Now think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that. I mean, funk was definitely, didn't nobody want to be funky? I mean, come on.
Right.
When you think about it, it what do you call that? It kind of graduated gradually,
Right.
where people start accepting it.
Mm-hmm.
But to be funky is like to be black, and to be black, that was pretty bad
Right.
until
Back in the day.
Yeah, until James Brown said loud, I'm black and I'm proud.
I know
And
that's right.
Before that, no, I'm colored.
I know that's right. Well, I just wanted to do a quick little fun lightning round, just to lighten the mood. I told you, a conversation between two old friends.
lightning round. Oh, God.
All right, hit me with your favorite stage outfit of all time.
Oh, shit. Stage outfit. Okay. So how many seconds do I have?
You can give me your top three because I'm sure you got a
Top
whole lot.
three?
Yeah, top three.
One was bad enough. Okay.
Oh yeah, you got about a good 2 minutes.
Okay. Let's see. Top outfit.
I mean, the one you're rocking right now, if y'all could see, is on and popping.
Well, you know what? I would probably have to say, the one in 1978 when I was Player of the Year.
Oh snap!
I had on the gear.
I bet you were.
Yeah, Player of the
Cane
Year.
and all.
Yeah, that whole tour.
Uh-huh.
That whole tour. We was rocking. Yeah.
Well, most unforgettable city you performed in?
Unforgettable city. Well, you know what? I don't. Would that be right to, say that because
It's okay. There's a couple, but one that you could name. One maybe one memorable. You love them all, but there's that one memorable.
Well, I'll tell you who embraced us right off.
Okay.
Chicago and L.A. L.A. I
Okay.
think was first. You know, Chicago and San Francisco. West Coast embraced us, and they showed you as we evolved how much because their kids embraced us.
Okay.
You know, and they started calling from P-Funk to G-Funk.
Ooh, that's how that came about.
Yeah, the whole Dr. Dre thing, you know, it was all about P-Funk,
Right.
G-Funk.
Nice.
You know, so they took the whole concept and made it their own.
Okay.
You know, so they were first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Star-shaped glasses or wide-brimmed hat?
Is that a choice?
Yeah, if you had to choose just one forever.
It would be the star glasses.
I know, because that's your trademark.
I can't see without them. Yeah.
See?
And the other thing is the reason I got these are like the original star glasses.
Okay.
And you know what I did that for was I wanted to have star glasses that the kids could look into and see themselves.
Oh, that's what's up.
I didn't want them to, you know, be looking at me. Look at yourself. You know, when I'm looking
to
at
see
you,
the star. Yeah, I see
look
myself
at
in the star.
see yourself because you're the one, you the star too.
Okay.
You know, and that's what was behind the star glasses.
Nice.
You know, and plus I got a chance to look crazy and everybody, well, you know, not everybody, but a lot of people thought, you know, he's so toe up, you know. And at the time I probably was. You know, but well, I mean, you know, the truth is always the light.
Right.
You know, and there was a few, well, more than a few, but I happened to experience and grow out of that.
Right.
You know, and I had a whole lot of help. I never did it on my own. My mother, she helped me a lot.
I love it.
Yeah,
Pouring into you.
she was my backbone.
Right.
You know,
As mamas always are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, Kate, you've been the backbone, not just as a music legend, but with this legendary funk, and just to keep inspiring all these new generations and keeping us on our toes, our old generation that, listen, you don't skip a beat.
Yeah.
So I love on your new album, did you have any special collabos on it?
Special collab.
Did you, someone special on there or a producer that produced
well, you know,
on the album?
For me, all of them are special.
A special.
Because, you know, the chemistry, we just hooked up. It wasn't like, I'm going to pay you to do this, and I'm going to pay you to do that. And just like the world is now, you got to pay for everything.
Mm-hmm.
People came to the party just because they wanted to be in the party.
Right.
You know, and to me, that's very special because that's the way I work.
Right.
You know, and so we want to put some of that out there.
Yeah.
As opposed to the way everyday people do.
Right.
Business.
Right.
You know, I never gave a funk about business.
Okay.
It was
I like
all
that.
about music to me.
Yeah.
You know, but I thank God for people that do business.
Yeah.
You know, because the people that came up after us started taking care of business. The rappers, they started taking care of business.
Mm-hmm.
We had no clue. We was out there acting a fool.
Right.
And loving it. You know. And I still love that.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Well, I love that, King. Do you have, lastly, Bootsy Collins, describe yourself in 3 words?
Oh, dang, that ain't funny. That ain't funny.
I got a couple.
Right,
Funky, eclectic,
oh my God.
legendary.
Okay, well, okay, give me the question one more time.
Describe Bootsy Collins in 3 words. Go.
3 words. He's abnormal. He's living in another frequency while he's in the flesh, but he knows he's a spirit.
Oh, wow.
From the one.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I'm here to pass that on.
I know that's right.
Yeah. My life means nothing if I didn't have the connection with the people.
Right.
So that's what I'm here to do, to keep connected with the people.
Well, King, this has been an honor. Thank you for connecting with me.
Oh,
We play your
thank you.
classics because, we old school, true school,
Oh,
are very
yeah.
classics. So
Oh,
we run
yeah.
your music every day.
Oh, man. Well, I
And
appreciate
it's still
that.
timeless.
Yeah.
It's timeless classics.
Yes.
So thank
Yeah.
you for what you've given the world, so much funk, so much soul, and just a humble, beautiful soul indeed.
Well, we got more funk to do.
I know you do, Mr. Funkateer.
All I need is for you to funk too.
Funk too. I know that's right.
So
We're going
let's
to funk
do
it all the way up.
Let's do it.
The world loves you. We cannot wait for the ride of this new #1 Funkateer. Y'all better cop it. The wave is on and popping. Come on, Bootsy.
Yeah. Well, I'm just proud about the people that came before me.
Right.
Because I'm standing on their backs.
Mm.
And I realized that a long time ago.
Right.
I'm just given a gift to do this.
Right.
This is my opportunity, and the people gave me the opportunity. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget where I come from.
Right.
I carried the welfare bags and everybody was laughing and everybody was on welfare.
Wow.
And I was able to take that rejection.
Right.
So we as a people got to learn to take the rejection, but still carry on. Do what you got to do. Do what's in your heart.
There it is.
And I want to be that example.
You are that.
I can't be that without.
Right.
So let's all be that.
That's right.
We can do that.
Funk legend himself. We've been funking it up.
We can do that.
We can do that.
Put your hands on the radio.
Okay.
And let the vibe flow through. There ain't too many things that the funk can't do.
Hey.
Never underestimate the power of the one.
Come on now.
Just jump up to your feet and let the funk begin.
That's it.
Come on.
Come on. Bootsy Collins, living legend. Come on through. Niecey Shaw, boy, this has been a blessing for Classics 102.9.
Thank you for taking it easy on me.
I got you.
Awesome.